Not particularly a big fan of social media, but you think you might need to start looking for a new job, or maybe you will one day, wondering how that LinkedIn thing might be able to help you? Today on Zippy Point. I'm Brock Romanek. I'm a big fan of yous. I learned a lot during this Gray Matters podcast with Vika von Rosen and Steve Dotto, as well as from this article, 20 Steps to a Better LinkedIn Profile, written by LinkedIn itself. So read that with a grain of salt. And I'll admit I've been reluctantly participating in LinkedIn myself over the years, essentially feeling it was mandatory since I view myself as a community builder. I also am in the content creation profession, and since LinkedIn is the social media platform for business, I felt like I needed to share my wares there. So I've done that for years. I was on LinkedIn early. But now that I've gone through a job transition myself, I can see more of the value for LinkedIn. As Vika says in her podcast, you need to prepare well before you change jobs or pivot careers. And you need to put in the work now to build up your network before you need it in earnest. So with LinkedIn, it's so easy to do that I can't imagine a pre-LinkedIn world. Here are 16 things about LinkedIn you should know. One, it's for real. At the end of the podcast, Vika lists 3 reasons why some resist LinkedIn. First, people worry about spam, and yes, there is some, but it's easy to ignore that kind of thing. You can always delete with a push of a button or block. Second, some mistakenly think that LinkedIn is dying. That's not true. It's only growing stronger by the day. And 3, yes, you can build real relationships on LinkedIn. 2, your profile is everything. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to work on your LinkedIn profile. It's very powerful. Even if LinkedIn decided to eliminate the timeline feed from its platform, the social network would still survive because its primary purpose is to basically serve as a collection of resumes. People visit your LinkedIn profile constantly. When someone Googles you, it's a page that inevitably is always going to show up near the top of the results. People are going to look for it actually in the search results. That's where I go to first research who you are. The bottom line is that you need to recognize that your LinkedIn profile is more valuable than your actual resume. So you need to visit it once in a while for a tune-up to make sure it's up to snuff. 3, choose a unique bio picture. So one of the most important components of your profile is your picture. When someone visits a website, the first thing they're drawn to is a face of someone. It's the eyes. They're going to notice your profile pic before they dig into your bio. So the picture obviously should not be unprofessional. You want it to be professional, but that doesn't mean it doesn't need to have, it should be bland, it should have no character. You want a little bit of character in your picture. So by avoiding the standard biopic, you're setting yourself apart already. It will serve as an icebreaker when you finally meet someone in person, someone particularly important, like for a job interview. That picture is a real opportunity to show a little bit of yourself that defines who you are. I'm currently using a picture with me and my friends because of what my day job consists of, building community. For you, it might be a picture of you enjoying your favorite hobby with your dog or your wife and kids, whatever makes you tick. Show that off. The LinkedIn article I mentioned earlier adds these tips. Make sure the picture is recent and looks like you. Making sure your face takes up about 60% of the picture. So long distance shots, don't do it. They don't stand out. Where would you would like to wear to work? For these videos, I'm always trying to wear this black shirt, so I guess my profile picture should have it, but it doesn't. And then smile with your eyes. 4, select a background photo that shows who you are. So all the stuff I said about your biopic now goes double for your background photo. The size of the background photo is much bigger than your biopic. So it gives you a real opportunity to tease out your personality, what your interests are, to help you connect with like-minded people who one day might become your clients or your boss or maybe someone that works for you. So take that opportunity and run with it. My background pick right now is a swirl of women from one of my micro conferences back in the day, the Women's 100. To me, it shows that I know how to build community. It reminds me of a very positive time in my life, something that I continue to believe is central to my work and that I'm good at achieving. 5, personalize your job title. Beneath your name, there's a field for you to briefly describe who you are, which typically includes your job title and where you work. You're not required to use your job title. It's just something you obviously would do, but it's not unprofessional to add a little bit more flair to set you apart. So use this field to indicate a little bit more about how you see your role in the world. You have 120 characters to play with. My buddy has husband, father, and friend after his job title. Don't you think that sets him apart? After my job title of editor Zippy Point, I've added entrepreneur, pseudo expert and friend. That helps establish my brand, that I'm innovative, fun, modest. I'm also willing to highlight subtly that I'm an expert and that I like to build community. 6, personalize your about summary. So your profile is your personal branding page, regardless of whether you like that or not. You need to think of it like that, a personal branding opportunity. Sure, you have a history of professional experiences and achievements, and that's part of your brand, but your brand is much more than that. You are much more than that. You want to share that so people looking to connect with you, do business with you, hire you, etc., have some understanding of who you are beyond where you've worked over time. So other than personalizing your title, the best place to tell your story is this about summary that's beneath your title. You have 200 characters to illustrate that you're someone worth hiring, doing business with, getting to know. So my summary consists of 4 paragraphs. The first paragraph shares the positive traits that I think I have. The second paragraph illustrates my skill sets. The third paragraph encapsulates what I've done in my career. And then the last paragraph lists my specialties. 7, ensure your skills match your job search. So LinkedIn allows you to list the components of your skill set. If you're in a job search, ensure that the top skills you list match the job that you seek. That's because when a recruiter looks for candidates for an open position, they're going to look for the skills that most closely match what's involved with that opening. So from that LinkedIn article, a skills assessment is an online test that enables you to demonstrate the level of your skills, blah, blah, blah. Data shows that candidates with verified skills are around 30% more likely to be hired. So that's what you want to know. So I'll admit I did something dumb recently. I turned off my skills and thereby deleted the ones I'd picked up long ago. I felt that section didn't add value to my profile. I did not know what I'm doing. I kind of still think that's true, but if I was looking for a real job, that would really hurt my chances with the recruiter algos. 8, obtain recommendations, particularly from influencers. So I haven't paid much attention to the recommendations part of LinkedIn, but that's because I haven't looked for a job in a few decades. A few people have left me recommendations over the years that I did not solicit. Doing this video has inspired me to collect a few more, but we'll see if I really do that. But getting a shout out from someone well-known in your niche might go a long way to helping you get an interview when you're job hunting, especially if they're an influencer, right? Someone that's a well-known brand name. So of course, don't be afraid to reciprocate. If someone writes you a nice recommendation, you can also surprise someone by writing them a recommendation out of the blue. Always a nice way to bolster a relationship. 9, actively manage your recommendations and skills. So that LinkedIn article talks about managing recommendations so that the most enthusiastic ones remain on your page. Bland recommendations might hurt you, so you can delete or hide those. Same thing if someone nominates you for a skill that you don't think enhances your image or doesn't really reflect your skill set, doesn't reflect what you do. You can delete that skill from your profile. 10, engage by posting on timeline. So maybe just maintaining your profile is enough for you. That's fine. That's the most important thing you should be doing. But if you really want to boost your network, posting short items on the LinkedIn timeline is the way to go. And here are 4 things you can do to boost the chances that your post will receive some traffic. 1, include a picture from your life or write something personal about you that pertains to your work life. This isn't Facebook. I wouldn't post pictures of your cats and your kids, but posting pictures of you in your working community, that's gold. You're showing that you're human. Add a little bit of analysis, some commentary rather than simply linking to someone else's piece. By providing some value added, you're showing that you're an expert in this area. 3, include 3 hashtags at the bottom of your post. Hashtags have come to LinkedIn, and that's the way the platform works now. The first 3 are the most important ones, so I wouldn't bother using more than 3. 4, turn on the notifications part of LinkedIn so that you can be alerted if someone comments on your post. That way you can see what people are saying, and someone will ask you questions. I mean, it can be a time vampire if you have too much back and forth engagement, but it also gets picked up by LinkedIn's algorithms and help your posts go viral. I recently had a short note I wrote that had 45,000 views, and I do not have 45,000 connections. So that's an example of something that went viral. So why do you care if your LinkedIn post gets traffic? Because if people engage with your post, either by liking it or writing a comment, then the algos, like I said, that LinkedIn uses, they're going to share that post with more people in your network, and it continues to get engagement. And then LinkedIn eventually will share it with the LinkedIn public at large. That's what happened to me. Good things happen then. Speaking offers, job offers. But the converse is also true. If your post receives scan engagement, the algos won't place it in the feeds of your connections. 11, don't bother posting articles. So when LinkedIn started to allow post full-length articles a while back, it was a hot area. Since I was blogging daily, it was easy for me to copy my blog entry and use it as an article on LinkedIn. And I witnessed firsthand how the traffic to those things have really dwindled over the years. And although an article occasionally will take off and reach a sizable audience, it's definitely not worth writing original content for that area today. 12, don't bother with a premium account. So LinkedIn is free, but there is a premium service that is pretty useless from what I hear. Its sole value is to see who views your profile. And to me, that's not worth, I don't care who reviews my profile. And to participate in LinkedIn's learning courses, which could be more valuable now that LinkedIn has acquired lynda.com, but it's probably not. But I don't know. I haven't tried lynda.com or what they're offering. 13, don't bother with groups. So as a community builder, I was quite excited when LinkedIn added the ability to form groups about a decade and a half ago. I rushed out and formed about a half dozen groups, a couple of them related to the FCC alumni, CorpFin alumni, but unfortunately today they have almost zero value. Notification from groups don't get pushed out effectively. So LinkedIn remains a social media platform that can build relationships, but it does not build community. 14, grow your network to 500 connections. So I'm lucky because I joined LinkedIn early, right off the bat. So my network has grown gradually throughout the years without me putting much effort into it. I do occasionally send invites to potential connections if I see someone I know in the suggestions that LinkedIn's algos send me, but I don't pay attention regarding whether they accept it or not. Some people don't participate much on LinkedIn, even if they have bothered to set up an account. I'm not taking their silence personally, nor should you. But if your network is on the small side, you should take steps to add more connections. I think of anything under 500 connections is on the small side, and let me explain why. When it comes to displaying the number of connections that you have beneath your name, the highest LinkedIn will go is 500 plus, meaning that even if you have 1 million connections, I don't know if anyone has that many, your label is just 500 plus. It doesn't say 1 million. So you can't show off that you're a heavy hitter. But what this does mean is that most people have 500 plus beneath their name. That's the standard. Not a gold standard, that's the norm. It's pretty easy to actually obtain 500 connections. So if you have a number below 500, it just doesn't look good. People might wonder why you have so few. So if you sync your email address book to LinkedIn, it will suggest people for you to send an invite to. Invites don't go out automatically to those people. You get to pick and choose. You control that, but I would suggest you do that if you're below 500 so you can get to that 500 level. 15, send invites with care. I'll admit I've never personalized an invite before I had listened to Vid-Guides podcast, but I now see the benefits. I've learned that if I send an invite to someone and I don't know them, there's a greater likelihood they're going to accept my invitation if I engage with them first on some of their posts, write some insightful comments, or ask an interesting question as a comment. So don't write something that doesn't add value, though, to their post. That gives them motivate not to connect to you. That seems obvious, but it's happened to me. Someone will connect with me, I'll accept an invitation, and they'll connect with me, and immediately that person's, and they're a salesperson, they ask me to buy some of their stuff. Fail. So if you're using LinkedIn on your mobile device, you can personalize an invitation by clicking on the 3 dots. There's a lot of functionality actually hidden on the mobile version of LinkedIn that I didn't realize that's not necessarily available on the desktop version. 16, accept invites with care. So I do not accept every invitation to connect that I received. I conduct a brief inspection of someone's profile, ensure that they fall within my community. Otherwise, I consider that invitation to be a spam. In fact, it likely came from a bot and could be malicious. I imagine others conduct this inspection too. If you're looking to connect with someone who's in a field different than yours, there's a greater need to personalize the invitation to indicate why you're trying to connect, explain why you're making that cross-pollination. Anyways, that's my 16 points. Let me know what you think.